I could smell the gasoline before I saw the flames. I was coming home from my night shift at the diner, exhausted from serving truckers and insomniacs their black coffee and regrets. My feet ached in their worn sneakers as I climbed the creaking stairs to our apartment. That's when the acrid smell hit me, sharp, chemical, wrong. Then I heard my father's voice through the thin walls. "This ends tonight. My name is Sophia Winters. I'm 27, and for the last 5 years, I've been living a double life. By day, I'm the disappointing daughter who can't find a husband, who wastes her time scribbling in notebooks instead of learning to cook. By night, I write. I pour my soul onto pages while the world sleeps, creating worlds where women aren't just wives and mothers, where they're warriors, queens, survivors. 300,000 words. 5 manuscripts. A lifetime of dreams hidden in bankers' boxes under my bed because I knew, God, I knew, what would happen if they found them. But someone must have seen. Someone must have told. I fumbled with my keys, hands shaking. The lock turned, and I pushed open the door to hell. My father stood by our old wood-burning stove, feeding pages into the flames. My pages. My words turned to ash and smoke. My mother knelt beside him with a red gas can, dousing each manuscript before he threw it in. They worked with the efficiency of people who'd been planning this. No! The scream tore from my throat as I lunged forward, but Dad caught my wrist. "Finally awake, are you?" His grip was iron. "Did you think we wouldn't find out? Mrs. Patterson saw you at the post office, mailing packages to those perverts in New York. They're publishers." I tried to pull away, watching years of work curl and blacken. "Those are my novels." Mom stood up, wiping her hands on her apron like she'd just finished kneading dough instead of destroying my future. "Novels? Listen to yourself. Women don't write novels, Sophia. They write grocery lists and thank you cards. Please." I was crying now, ugly sobs that made my chest hurt. "Please, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly." Dad released me with a shove that sent me stumbling. "You've been lying to us. Sneaking around. Filling your head with fantasies instead of focusing on what matters. You're 27. Your sister had 3 kids by your age. I don't want kids." The slap came fast, Mom's hand across my face. "Don't you dare. Don't you dare disrespect the gift of motherhood." I pressed my palm to my burning cheek, tasting copper where my teeth cut my lip. Through tears, I watched the last manuscript disappear into the flames. The fantasy epic I'd spent 2 years perfecting. The romance that had made me cry while writing it. The mystery that had kept me up for 3 days straight trying to solve my own plot. All of it gone. "Harold, look at this filth." Mom held up a page, reading with disgust. She stood at the edge of the cliff, wind whipping her hair, knowing that tomorrow she would lead the rebellion. Rebellion. She's writing about women fighting against the natural order. Dad snatched the page and fed it to the fire. Poisonous ideas. This is what comes from too much education. I knew we should have pulled you out of high school. You're insane. The words came out quiet, dangerous. Both of you. We're your parents, Mom said. We're saving you from yourself. Monday morning, you'll go to the matchmaker. Mrs. Liu has a nephew who needs a wife. He owns a hardware store. Stable. Respectable. I'm not marrying anyone. Dad's face went purple. You'll do as you're told, or you'll find yourself on the street. No more writing. No more dreams. No more disrespect. Focus on finding a husband, or find another family. They left me there, standing in front of the stove, watching the last embers of my work glow and fade. 5 years. 300,000 words. A contract I'd signed in secret. A book tour I'd been planning to run away for. All ashes now. I sank to my knees, sifting through the remains, hoping to find one page, one paragraph, one sentence that survived. But they'd been thorough. Nothing remained but gray dust and the bitter taste of smoke. The weekend passed in a haze. I moved like a ghost through the apartment, serving meals in silence, nodding when spoken to. My parents seemed pleased by my compliance. Mom even hummed while cooking, probably planning my wedding to the hardware store nephew. They had no idea about the backup drives hidden in my locker at the diner. They didn't know about the cloud storage, the email drafts, the agent who'd been calling me Sarah Merchant to protect my identity. They thought they'd burned my only copies because that's how their generation worked. One typewriter, one manuscript, one chance. But they'd taught me to be resourceful. To hide. To survive. Monday morning came with rain beating against the windows. I served breakfast, eggs over easy for Dad, whole wheat toast for Mom, and put on my best demure daughter act. I've been thinking, I said quietly. Maybe you're right. About the matchmaker. Mom's face lit up. Oh, sweetheart. I knew you'd come to your senses. This writing phase was just. The phone rang. We all froze. Nobody called during breakfast. Dad's iron rule. It rang again. I'll get it. I moved before they could stop me. Hello. Sarah? Sarah Merchant. The voice was crisp, professional, annoyed. This is Diana Chong from Lighthouse Publishing. Where the hell are you? Your flight was supposed to land 2 hours ago. The car's been waiting at JFK, and your first signing is at noon. I felt the blood drain from my face. Not from fear. From rage. I'm sorry, I said carefully. There's been a family emergency. Emergency? Sarah, we have 20,000 copies of The Last Empress sitting in bookstores across the country. The Today Show is expecting you Wednesday. The advance reviews are calling it the debut of the decade. Whatever emergency this is, fix it. Fast. Who is that? Dad stood up, chair scraping. I covered the receiver. Wrong number. But Diana was still talking, loud enough to carry. The marketing team will have my head if you miss this tour. Do you understand what we've invested in launching you? The advertisements alone. Dad ripped the phone from my hand. Who is this? Who is this? Diana's voice went sharp. I'm trying to reach Sarah Merchant. Her debut novel launches today. There's no Sarah here. He started to hang up. Wait. Diana's voice pitched higher. Is this Sophia? Sophia Winters? Sarah mentioned her real name once. Please, if this is Sophia, we need her here. The contracts are signed. The books are printed. Her career depends on this tour. Dad's face went through several colors, red, purple, white. He looked at me, then at the phone, then at Mom, who'd gone still as a statue. She won't be coming, he said finally. She has family obligations. Family obligations? Diana laughed, harsh and disbelieving. Sir, I don't know who you are, but Sophia Winters signed a 3-book deal worth $500,000. She's legally obligated to promote this book. If she doesn't show up, she's in breach of contract. We will sue. Is that clear enough for you? The phone slipped from Dad's nerveless fingers. I caught it. Diana? It's me. I'll be on the next flight. Thank God. Sarah, Sophia, whoever you are today, just get here. Your whole future is waiting. I hung up and faced my parents. They looked smaller somehow, older, like the world had tilted and left them behind. $500,000? Mom whispered. That was the advance. For the first 3 books. The royalties. I shrugged. Depends on sales. You lied to us. Dad's voice was hollow. You burned my manuscripts. We were trying to protect you. From what? Success? Independence? A life beyond these walls. I laughed, and it tasted like ashes. You burned 5 years of my work because you couldn't stand the thought of me being more than someone's wife. Women shouldn't. Stop. I held up my hand. Just stop. Women shouldn't, right? Tell that to the 20,000 people who pre-ordered my book. Tell that to the publisher who's betting their winter catalog on me. Tell that to the girl who spent 5 years creating worlds in secret because her own family made her real one unbearable. I headed to my room to pack. They followed, hovering in the doorway like lost children. Where will you go? Mom asked. New York. Then Los Angeles. Then Chicago. 12 cities in 3 weeks. I threw clothes into my old duffel bag. After that, wherever I want. That's what independence looks like. You can't just leave. I zipped the bag and turned to face them. You burned my novels. You tried to burn my future. But you forgot something. Fire doesn't destroy a phoenix. It just helps her rise. This is our home. You follow our rules. Your home. Your rules. I pulled out a checkbook. Here's 6 months' rent. After that, you're on your own. Just like you wanted me to be. Dad's face went purple again. We don't want your dirty money. It's not dirty. It's mine. Earned with the talent you tried to destroy. I shouldered my bag. You know what the saddest part is? I wrote Strong Women because I was hoping to become one. But you taught me to hide, to lie, to survive. So in a way, I guess I should thank you. You gave me all the material I needed. I walked past them, past the stove that still smelled faintly of gasoline and paper, past the kitchen where I'd served 1,000 silent meals. If you leave now, don't come back. Dad shouted. I paused at the door. I wasn't planning to. But here's something for you to think about while you're pretending I don't exist. Every bookstore in America will have my face in the window tomorrow. Every review will mention my name. Every reader will know my story. You tried to erase me, but instead you set me free. Sophia, please. Mom was crying now. We're your family. No. Family doesn't burn your dreams. Family doesn't pour gasoline on your future. Family celebrates your success, even if they don't understand it. I opened the door. Enjoy the hardware store, nephew. I'm sure he'll make someone a wonderful husband. Just not me. The taxi was waiting outside, meter running. I'd called it Saturday night, knowing this moment would come. The driver helped with my bag, and I slid into the back seat, watching my childhood home shrink in the rear window. My phone buzzed. Diana again. The morning shows want to know, do you have a compelling backstory? Something about overcoming adversity. I almost laughed. Yeah, you could say that. Perfect. People love an underdog. Oh, and Sophia? The early reviews are incredible. The Times called it a stunning debut that burns with feminine rage and power. Ironic, right? You have no idea. As we pulled onto the highway, heading toward the airport and the life I'd built in secret, I thought about fire. How it consumes, but also how it purifies. My parents had meant to destroy me, but they'd only burned away the cage. The girl who served breakfast in silence was gone. In her place sat Sarah Merchant, debut novelist, heading to her first book, signing with ashes under her fingernails and freedom in her lungs. They'd burned 300,000 words. But they'd forgotten the most important truth about writers. We always have more words. We always have another story. And this one was just beginning. My phone rang again. This time, an unknown number. Miss Winters? This is Jonathan Craig from the Wall Street Journal. We'd like to interview you about your journey from small-town waitress to literary sensation. I understand there's quite a story behind your success. I smiled, watching the sunrise paint the sky the color of flames. You could say that. How much time do you have? Because if my parents had taught me anything, it was this: the best revenge isn't hatred or violence or even success. It's living so brightly that those who tried to dim your light have to shade their eyes just to look at you. And I was just getting started.